Hello, hello, beautiful souls. Good afternoon. I am so excited that we are here today, as we usually are, on Tuesday afternoon in our Confessions of an Awakened Boss Lady. In this group, today I have this beautiful light, Yadira Santana-Dowling. She is here to share with us a lot of the soul inventory that is her lived experience, that is the way she's elevated, expanded, and grown. And I want to give you a huge welcome, Yadira. Thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure.
I'm super excited to have you. I know I've been kind of after you for months to get on here. So just to have you coming and chatting with our ladies is just such a big such a big gift. So thank you. For those of you that are coming on for the first time and don't know me, I'm Patty Ferreira. I am an intuitive women's success catalyst. My mission and purpose to this segment right here, to this beautiful session, which is called Confessions of an Awakened Boss Lady, is to really tap into the breakdowns that then turned into breakthroughs. Really tap into moments of struggle that really became your strength and your strongest moments. Really talk with women and kind of get behind the veil of their life and see the things that have really guided them towards their highest trajectory and highest version. And the reason we do this is because there's hope that in sharing our stories and coming together and having these genuine, vulnerable, transparent, intimate conversations, we can awaken another woman, inspire another woman, help a woman feel like she can. If they did it, I can. And if, just like hold someone high, call someone in to really create what it is they want to in their life. So, this is us in service. This is us really connecting to where it needs to be for you. So today, Yadira is going to share with us many things about her. And the first thing I want us to do is get to know you a little bit more and really understand like what's really that driving energetic currently. What's the thing that you're most passionate about, and how are you contributing to the collective through it, through this passion and purpose?
Yes, thank you. So, what I am most passionate about and what I want to do is to be a love agent in the world. And what does that mean, and how do I do that? I am actually a strategist by trade, communication strategist that develops ad campaigns for the Hispanic market. So some may think like that's pretty far from like this love agent thing that you want to be. And
Yeah.
to me, the way I've defined it is, well, I get to build brands that are all about social mission, that are about
Mm,
sharing and being that tangible representation of love in the world that we have today. And I get to help usher that. So that is one way I do it. Another way I do it is with my volunteer activities. I build aqueducts in the Dominican Republic for communities in need. As you know, my journey, and you have supported me through that as well, and I appreciate it. But that
wow.
is another way that I can be a tangible representation of love to folks that may feel forgotten,
Mm.
to women that may have a heavy burden of getting water day in and day out for their families and their children. So that's another way that I get to just be an example of love.
Wow, I'm loving the expansion and the bandwidth of the two ways in which you are an agent of love, right? And like I just love how you're sharing this word and this discernment around wanting to be an agent of love and then getting really creative around how you do that, right? Because a lot of times there's this thinking, this concept of it looking kind of like Mother Teresa, right? And there being a lot of suffering and like sacrificing to be able to give back. And one that's the reason I ask the question this way, because we all have the ability to contribute to the collective, to give back to the collective while showing up in our highest self, you know? So I love that you've put it this way. And I wanted to ask around like the agent of love and helping other brands like show up socially responsible, and what are some of the ways in which you create that line where you make sure you bring on clients like that? How, like, where is the boundary? Like, what are the things you would do and you wouldn't do in making sure that you're meeting this niche, let's say,
Mhm.
or this service, right?
Yeah. So I start with people's why and literally their actual business or organization. Some of them have come and they have a very clear link. Like, I want to sell this product because a percentage of each of these product that sells is going to go to solving X, Y, and Z.
Yeah.
So some folks come clear like that. Some other folks are kind of like you are out here in the universe to do good. I call my audience the do-gooders. You
Oh,
are over here to help elevate women and help them rise to their highest potential. That's a do good business in the
yeah,
world. And I feel like our world is in need of more and more businesses and organizations like that. I
yeah.
think, like, the other regular businesses, that I have built my career on, they have plenty of other strategists that can, help them and help them grow. But typically when we are do-gooders, um, we don't necessarily have the benefit of a strategist, and that's my passion. And I'm like, I was created for that work.
That is beautiful. And strategy could feel like something that is kind of like in the back room in the dark, kind of by itself, and you've brought it to the forefront and in collaboration with people. So there's so much there that you've been able to just alchemize about what we think of as a strategist, right? You know?
Absolutely. I think that most folks may be stuck in how to communicate their businesses, and that's where a strategist help. Like, I have, to me, it's a spiritual relationship, because I have to download everything that the business owner, the gifts that they have been created to place into the world. I have to get that,
Yeah.
and I internalize that, and then I turn it into beautiful, concise words for them to be able to share with their audience. Sometimes we go into business because we're great at one thing. We may not be great at marketing, and we may need that help. How do I communicate? How do I know what things to say, what things to post about? What do
I
people care
know.
about? And a strategist helps you understand, this is what your audience cares about, you and your business. This is what you should say.
I love it. I love the way you place it and you position it, because it feels very much like coming into soul sponsorship of your clients and really extracting what may be blind spots for them, right? A lot of times we don't see in ourselves what another person sees about our mastery and our magic, and that in its own is a way to contribute. You're like, that in its own is a magical thing. Like, you're literally showing another person you matter, you're a light, you have this gift, and that in itself is like deep bow, sister, because I just love that.
I,
I
I
want to
described it.
go ahead.
I described it as being a doula for your ideas, because I help people build it.
Yes, yes, an ideation doula. I love it. I love it. That is so sexy. I think we're gonna put that in the copy when we introduce the because you know why I like words like that, and why I like words like awakened boss lady, because for me it's very important for us to really show up in the whole of who we are, spirit and human. And for you to be able to put those two words together, like ideation and doula, and know that there gets to be the journey of sponsoring an idea, right? The journey of bringing in someone's highest thought process, right? And not just making an idea something that's mental.
Right. Oh,
That is what sounds like
I
so.
mean, as entrepreneurs, it is not for the faint of heart. And we go into this because we've been given a gift. It's a different way of doing something, a different way of solving a problem.
Yeah,
So I don't take that lightly. I'm like, this needs to be part of this world, and we need to, with care, bring it,
Yeah.
usher it in. So how are we
Wow.
going to do that? Yeah.
Yeah, I hear the level of self awareness that you're coming into this conversation and this experience with. And I hear the degree to which you're getting out of your own way, right? Like, just like, let's get the human ushered nicely out into the passenger seat,
Yes.
and let's get the spirit in the driver's seat, right? Which we don't do enough of, right?
And it's a journey. I cannot say that this is where I started.
So this is good, because this is where I want you to be. You see, I'm just reeling you in, Jelly.
and yes, I
I
see where
want
you're
to talk
going.
about that. I want to
Mhm.
talk about, like, you know, where were you before this awakening? Like, what were some of the things that felt hard, that felt like hurdles, that felt like, who am I and who do I think I am? And all the things that get in our mental about why we aren't the person that we desire to be, or why we
Mhm.
can't become the person that we desire. I know it's a very open question, but I want to get into the frequency that you were running then,
Mhm.
and not so much like the story, like,
Mhm.
what was the inner talk?
The I want to say maybe 3 years ago, I felt friction, like just living life didn't feel natural.
Wow.
Being a working mom of three young children, a wife, and having a high powered career that required travel and just being on and being great in both of those places was to me like, I don't know how to not be excellent. So therefore, here's this friction because there's only 24 hours in the day.
Yeah.
And I felt inadequate when it came to home. I don't have enough time to give my children. And my children's default is missing their mom.
Yeah.
That was not right. It didn't sit right with me. And then at work, I felt like they think I'm excellent, but I know that I have this current pulling me the other way, and this doesn't feel right either,
Yeah.
you know? And it came to the point where I said, something has had to give, and this is not sustainable for me.
And this is, I want to hear more, but I also want to highlight this moment, because this is the moment where we know too much, where we start to feel something's missing. I'm
Mhm.
not fulfilled. I'm not satisfied. I got this checklist of all the things I needed to go after. And it's starting to feel really empty. It's
Yep.
starting to feel like I've got the things, but I do not have the fulfillment and satisfaction that I was promised. Right. And
Yes.
so that's the first piece, like, something is missing. And then what I'm hearing came in after, and this is where I'm going to let you share more, is the feeling of less than.
Hmm.
Because we pointed to us, right? We then say, if something's wrong, it's got to be me.
Yep.
Tell me
And
about that.
and the first part, you're right on it. It just, how many of us take the time to pause and check in with ourselves and
Yeah.
say, this does not feel right, and give ourselves grace and time to explore the why,
Yeah.
right? So I like to do that every so often. I don't go into, let's say, a job thinking this is going to be for the next 10 years. I don't go into it like that. I go into it and I give myself a time frame, and I got to check in with myself and see if I still love it a year later, 6 months in, whatever it is.
So
um,
again, I want to just stop you a minute, because you are putting down so many nuggets, and I want to make sure that the women are picking them up, right? The first thing I hear you saying is giving yourself room to go into self-reflection,
yes.
giving yourself a safe space where you can check in with yourself and get a feel for what are your clear yeses and your clear nos.
Yes.
Right. And that's one of the reasons why I'm so passionate. I've got to put it in here. about my retreats, because they are meant to do exactly what you're saying. Like, just stop a minute, sister, and get a feel for what's really there. What is yes and what is no? What is, expired? What no longer serves? And what's new and fresh and high vibing, right? Just
Mhm.
that moment. The other thing that you said, which is magical and also like so powerful, is the power and permission that you've given yourself to be ever changing. Just I'm going to check in about a year and see if it still feels good, because guess what, I am an expanding and growing and evolving human being, and it may not sit with me the same way 6 months from now like it sat now. And there's no shame and no blame and no guilt and no judgment.
Yes, and I think like that about marriage too. I'm about to celebrate 17 years, right? But it is foolish to think that we're the same person that we married on that day 17 years ago. And it is,
Yes,
again, it's the same principle, showing each
yes.
other grace as we grow and adjust and like new things.
Yes, yes, yes. So I love the principles and the pillars that you've built. And I can also hear that there was a moment where there wasn't that version of you with this much awareness.
Yeah, so typically this kind of comes with like age. When you're getting, I was getting into my 40s and I was like, what am I going to do with this next decade? Like, I don't know.
I don't know what it is, but this is not it.
No, right. I'm like, I've done the childbearing thing. I've done it. I've been a stay-at-home mom for a little while. That was not fulfilling. I've done it. Going back to work full time, done it, and not quite. So actually, for my birthday gift, I asked my husband, I just want to go up on a mountain by myself. I just need to be alone with my thoughts. He was like, okay, that's what you want for your birthday. And sure enough, that's what I did, because I needed
So life
to
giving.
hear me. I don't want to live with other people's voices in my head. I want to be able to hear me. And what I figured out is that I needed to do it differently, and that I had not seen it done. So it was scary, but I hired coaches that can help me through it, and can help me just take those baby steps that I needed, which is why I said, I'm like, this is not how it started.
It
you know
never is. And wow, how much power in that grace of just quietness that you
Mhm.
gifted yourself with. Like,
Yes, and
these are the
traveling by
moments.
myself to
Yeah.
another state, up in a mountain by myself, that was courageous and amazing. I highly recommend solo travel.
Let me tell you something that is important to share here, right? The the evolution, the expansion is going to come, right?
Mhm.
Regardless. You get to choose if you're going to like do it kicking and screaming, or if you're going to do it with a beautiful gracious getaway, right? And the reason I'm saying this, like, I am not saying this lightly. Like, my awakening came through the death of my mother,
Mhm.
through her passing from metastatic breast cancer and me caring for her for 3 years.
Mhm.
That's what it took for me to go inward and say, like, what is happening? Like, where did I lose myself? How did I get here? Like, who am I? Like, that's what it took for me, because the resistance that I had to pain was so high that no
Mhm.
matter how many wake up calls came in, it was just like, okay, I'll fix it and keep moving, fix it and keep moving.
Mm. Because
So,
we're just too busy doing life. You were too busy just doing life.
and asleep doing life,
Mhm. Mhm.
thinking that somehow, somewhere, I find myself again, right? So, you can choose to do it that way, or you can choose to be awakened and aware and know what you need, which is a version of me who exists now.
Mhm.
I'm 57 years old. That was not who I was at 40.
Right.
So for you to say this, and for you to say the level of awakening and the permission that you gave yourself, and just the knowing that that was going to make a difference, is powerful. And it could happen kicking and screaming as well. And
The
you
universe has its ways.
the universe has its ways,
Mhm.
and for you to select that is so powerful. So I want to hear a moment where it wasn't just like I saw it coming and I felt into it and I intuitively gave myself permission. I would love for you to share a moment where it was more of a breakdown and you've now seen how it's powerful.
Mhm. One of the moments that I think about when you ask me that question is being a 9/11 survivor, since we just, had that this weekend.
Yeah.
That was a rude awakening for me 21 years ago, when that was my first job out of college. And to experience the loss of life of friends for the first time was tough. To get the lesson of life's brevity has been a gift that I appreciate in hindsight.
Yeah.
Right
Yeah.
at the time is just
Yeah.
tough to deal with, but in hindsight, what that has given me is um, a a belief that whatever it is that I want to get to do in life, I must do it now, because I don't know that tomorrow is going to be there. I can go to work and not be there after that. I can
Yeah.
fall in the bathtub and not be there, here after that. So to me, that's a moment that came with so much pain and surprise at the same time,
Yeah.
but it's been a great gift with
Yeah.
how my life has developed, even as an entrepreneur. Maybe that was part of the catalyst, that I just can't sit in a place where I am not fully fulfilled and I know I am not giving to the highest capacity that I can, because that means that I'm being nudged to do something else and I must figure out, because there's not a lot of time.
Yeah. That's the beauty of being exposed to death,
Hmm.
right? And having that awareness and having that, it becomes a like a recoding, because I say it because I felt that's how I felt with my experience with my mom, and I've experienced death close several times. And for some people it can break them, it could just like burn them down, right? They could be, the before and after is so big bow, and now you could see
To experience when you're walking.
you know getting in their own way around things, or running on empty, or being pulled in different directions, or giving their power away through people pleasing or overachieving. Like there's so many ways, like pick your flavor of pain. There's so many ways, right? But we're here to bust the illusion. What are some of the things, what is one thing that you would say to a woman that is just kind of sitting in it? What's one of the advice or like wake ups like that you would give to her?
Well, I typically ask two things. What do you really want, right? What are you with ourselves to figure out what we should be going after, right? And then the next question is, then why are we sitting here when we want there? And the one that comes after that, well, how can we get from here to there? Even if it is not one full step, but what are the baby steps
Yeah.
that we need to plan for, right?
Yeah.
So sometimes it's just owning up to what it is that you want.
Yeah.
Sometimes as moms, as daughters, sisters, wives, we spend so much time thinking about what everybody else wants and needs from us,
Mhm.
that we don't spend the time sitting down and just be like, and what is it that will make me happy?
Yeah.
What is it that is going to bring me joy? And
Yeah.
how can we all be happy? Because it's not all or nothing, right? Like sometimes we think, oh, but if I do this for myself, then my children can get X, Y, and Z.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be mutually exclusive. We're a whole, we're a family. There are ways that we can figure out how we can all be happy,
Yeah.
in the choices that we make.
That's powerful. That's a powerful thing. I love that you're sharing it this way. And what's landing on this side for me as I hear you is the importance of just declaring what you want.
Mhm.
Like just declaring it. Like there's so much taking back of your power and owning your truth and like sovereignty that comes from just saying what you want. Because I see so many women just looking away from the thing, right? And turning their back to the thing. And then like, oh no, we can't look there. And we've got it in a big black bag in a closet somewhere because it's the thing that's going to do the thing that's going to do the thing that we don't even know. But just saying.
Like, why do we go through life like that?
Yes. So that's a beautiful thing because also what I'm getting is do it one step at a time.
Mm-hmm.
Do it one step at a time. And that is powerful because the level of women and clients and just individuals that get into the how,
Mm-hmm.
like the whole, they need to see the whole picture drawn out, blueprint in 3D and 5D to really take the very next, just to the next, to the very next thing. We don't need, the bridge is being built one plank at a time. And if you give yourself the permission and surrender to just, let's put this one down, without really knowing even where like the wood and the nails are going to come from for the others, right? Getting into that level of surrender is a powerful way to do things that feel big, like what you just shared, which is like leaving what seems safe, like a job, a career, right? Because I did it myself, and going into something that feels unsafe and uncertain, right? Do it one step at a time and see what shows up to meet you there.
Yeah, and I think that we've heard that the universe conspires to give us what we want, right? In the book Big Magic.
Yes.
Well, when we show it momentum with that baby step, then it really powers up the thing that we want. But it's like we got to show some forward movement.
Yeah, we got to send it the universal email that says I'm in. Versus I'm just gonna stand here and wait. For you to show up. Of course, you've got to say it. We're in this together, and I'm gonna do this piece that's in my reach. Wow. Right. And the funny thing about it, and I know you know this, is that when you do this piece, the universe just kind of like reorganizes everything and shows up bigger than you ever thought, and it's just like wild the way things take off. I love it.
And it might be beyond what you've ever imagined. I say, like, I love journaling and journaling my wishes because I love going back and be like, oh, got that. And also thinking about what becomes a new iteration, because sometimes the way I dreamt it is not exactly the way it showed up.
Totally.
So thinking about that too, like the gifts change along the way, and you're still grateful for them.
Yeah. And the desires change along the way.
Yes.
Like the thing that looked like maybe chopped liver all of a sudden looks like the ice cream sundae because it's like the thing that, I didn't even know I wanted this.
Right.
I didn't even know there was a taste within me for this.
Especially in business, like the way that we think that we're starting the business versus the different iterations that they turn into. When I first started I started with a full service agency, thinking that that's, what my business was going to be. And I started shedding products and services that I was offering that I'm like, you know what? I do not enjoy delivering this product and this service. So I just started shaving things off to the point where I am now, where I offer branding, D&I consulting services, and, that's it.
So
I don't do, because this is truly where I can show up in love for the universe.
I love it. Yeah. And it's from your highest vibration that you can offer your highest service and tap into your highest trajectory versus, it's on my menu and people expect this and I've got to, all of that it just like flattens the energy. And now that's what you're offering, a flat thing, I love this. Okay, I have one last question. We're above time. We're at 1 minute and 46, but I do want you to share with us, like, I always share with women the pillars of our awakened boss lady, right? And it's believe in yourself, right? It's break free from the things that are holding you back. It's, show up bold. It's about beholding yourself in love. And these are just a few of the pillars. I want to hear, what is the thing that is making a difference in these pillars? Which one is the one that you would feel carries the energetic that you're calling in right now? Is it believe, break free, bold, behold, belong? What is it?
I think it's bold at the moment. I am getting ready to launch a study at the end of the month, and I have gone through the mind, coaching of my own mind to just get me there.
The enrollment.
Yes, exactly. And it is like, I shouldn't have taken this long, but it took this long, and it's going to be okay because it is a bold step I'm taking to answer a question that has not been asked and to share information that has not been put out there yet. So for me, in this time, I am channeling boldness and courage that needs to come with that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, there's a thing, like, I love to guide women towards clarity, confidence, and courage. And what I know needs to happen is you've got to do the courageous thing in order to gain confidence.
Hmm.
It doesn't happen the other way around, you know?
That's a
So
gem.
that the courageous thing is the bold thing, right? The thing that's like, what am I thinking? Like, the thing that's the scariest, right? And for you to be stepping into bold, courageous, unapologetic action and self-expression is huge. I want to just witness you in all of that. I want to thank you for being here with us. I want to send you blessings
Thank
of love and light and expansion. And may we do this again. I feel like there's a whole lot of ways we can, light up worlds. So,
Yes.
um, we're going to be signing off now. Stay with me so we can say our personal goodbyes, but we're signing off to Confessions of an Awakened Boss Lady. If you're seeing this as a recording, please share hashtag replay. This week for me is very much about sharing my retreat, because that's the next thing that I am super excited about. So if even you're a little curious, like, set up some time for us to chat and talk about what's behind the Her Essence Unearthed retreat, and make this a dialogue. Like, Yadira's in the group, like, ask
Yes.
some questions, put up some thoughts that you're having from this live, and we'll both come on and share with you guys. Sending you love and light, ladies. Until we see you next week on Tuesday, same time. Ciao.